The woman was standing in the middle of my driveway, holding a can of pepper spray in her hand, while a police K9 was barking beside my truck. Then she smiled and said something I will never forget. "Your dog attacked me first. I'm calling the police and I'll make sure this animal is taken away. The only problem was, the dog she was talking about wasn't mine. It was a trained police K9 standing on my private property during an official investigation. And the woman threatening to destroy a police animal's career wasn't a victim at all. She was the president of our neighborhood HOA. Her name was Karen Whitmore, and for 3 years, she had made life miserable for anyone who dared question her authority. She walked around our community like she owned every street, every mailbox, and every piece of land she could see. She gave out fake violations, threatened homeowners with impossible fines, and once even told a retired firefighter that his American flag was too large for the neighborhood image. Most people stayed quiet because they didn't want trouble, but I was different. I knew the rules, and Karen hated that. That morning, I was standing near my property fence when I saw her walking toward me with 2 HOA board members behind her. She had that same confident smile she always wore when she thought she was about to win. "Remove this fence immediately," she said. I looked at her in confusion. "Excuse me?" She pointed at my fence like she was giving an order to an employee. "This property is under HOA control. You made changes without permission." I almost laughed. "Karen, this land isn't part of the HO? You know that." Her smile disappeared for a second. Then she stepped closer. "You really want to challenge me?" I stayed calm. "Yes, because you're wrong." That was the moment her attitude changed. She wasn't expecting me to push back. She pulled out a folder and waved some papers in front of my face. "I have the authority to inspect this property." I looked at the papers carefully. Something felt strange. The documents had the HOA logo, but the signatures looked wrong. Very wrong. Before I could say anything, a black SUV turned onto my driveway. Karen immediately stepped back. A police officer got out, followed by a K9 handler and a large German shepherd wearing a police vest. The officer walked toward me. "Sir, we received a report about illegal activity happening on this property." I looked at Karen. She was smiling again. That's when I realized something. She had called them, but what she didn't know was why they were actually there. The officer wasn't there because of me. He was there because of evidence connected to a case that Karen had no idea about. The K9 was brought onto my property because investigators needed help searching an area near my storage building. Everything was legal. Everything was documented. But Karen didn't care. She saw an opportunity. She walked toward the K9 and started yelling, "That animal is dangerous. It shouldn't be here." The handler immediately warned her. "Ma'am, step back. This is a trained police dog." But Karen ignored him. She raised her phone and started recording. "Everyone needs to see this. This man is hiding something, and now he's bringing aggressive animals into our neighborhood." I watched silently, because I knew something she didn't. The entire property was covered by security cameras. Every word, every movement, every action. Then Karen did something nobody expected. She walked right up to the police K9. The officer shouted, "Ma'am, move away from the dog." But Karen rolled her eyes. "You people always protect each other." Then she pulled out a can from her purse. At first, everyone thought it was just some kind of cleaning spray, until the handler saw the label, "Pepper spray." Before anyone could react, Karen sprayed toward the police K9. The dog immediately moved back, and the handler pulled the animal away. The entire area went silent. Even Karen looked surprised for a moment. Then she quickly changed her story. "He attacked me. I was defending myself." The officer stared at her. "You sprayed a police K9. Karen crossed her arms. "I don't care who owns the dog. This is my neighborhood." That sentence changed everything. Because right there, she exposed exactly who she was. She didn't think rules applied to her. She thought power belonged to whoever shouted the loudest. But she had no idea that the cameras had captured everything. and she had no idea that the person she had been trying to intimidate for months was about to reveal a truth that would destroy her position forever. The officer looked at Karen and calmly said, "Ma'am, you need to understand something. This isn't your neighborhood right now. This is an active police matter." For the first time, Karen's confident expression started to fade. She looked around and noticed something she had ignored before. Everyone was watching. Neighbors who had stayed silent for years were standing outside their homes. Some were recording. Some were shaking their heads. They had all seen Karen use her HOA title to scare people. But this time she had gone too far. The officer asked for her identification and took her spray. Karen immediately became angry. "You can't do this. I'm the HOA president." The officer didn't react. "That does not give you permission to attack a police animal." Karen pointed at me. "He caused this. He's been causing problems in this neighborhood." I almost couldn't believe what I was hearing. She had just sprayed a police K9 and somehow she was still trying to blame me. But then the officer looked toward my security camera. "Sir, do you have footage of what happened?" I nodded. "Yes, every second?" Karen's face changed. "No, wait. You don't understand. Cameras can be edited." The officer gave a small smile. "Good thing we have multiple angles." That was the moment she knew she was trapped. The footage showed everything. It showed Karen walking onto my property without permission. It showed her ignoring warnings. It showed her approaching the K9. And most importantly, it showed her spraying the dog first. But the video revealed something else too. The officer reviewing the footage noticed the fake HOA documents she had been using against homeowners. He asked me, "How long has she been doing this?" I looked at Karen. "Years." That opened a much bigger investigation. Over the next few weeks, homeowners came forward with stories: false fines, fake violation notices, threats, unauthorized inspections. Karen had built an entire system based on fear. She thought nobody would challenge her. She was wrong. The investigation also uncovered the biggest secret. The property she kept claiming belonged to the HOA was never part of the HOA at all. The original land records prove that my property was legally separate, and Karen had known it from the beginning. She wasn't making mistakes. She was using her position to control people. At the HOA meeting a month later, Karen walked in expecting everyone to defend her. Instead, she found a room full of angry homeowners. The same people she had pushed around for years were now standing together. One neighbor stood up and said, "You spent years acting like you owned us, but you forgot one thing. People remember everything." Karen tried to argue. She blamed the police. She blamed me. She blamed everyone except herself. But nobody listened anymore. The board voted to remove her as HOA president. The legal consequences followed soon after. She faced charges related to trespassing, filing false reports, and assaulting a police K9. The same woman who once threatened families with fines was now the person answering questions. Months later, I saw the police K9 again during a community event. The dog was healthy, strong, and wearing the same badge of honor. The handler smiled and said, "He's doing great." He never forgot his job. I looked around at the neighborhood. Things were different. People talked more. Neighbors helped each other. Nobody was afraid anymore. That day taught everyone a lesson. A title does not make someone powerful. A position does not give someone the right to hurt others. And no matter how loud someone screams, the truth always has a way of showing up. Karen thought she could control an entire neighborhood. But she forgot one thing. The people she tried to silence were the very people who finally exposed her.